What's up, everybody? This is Hawksley from Hawksley Games, coming to you with another video. Well, it's the November rush, I'm going to call this. The November rush of games, where basically a lot of publishers try and get games out before Christmas so they can get a huge surge of the launch day titles, the launch day sales, I should say. And then they'll get a whole heap of Christmas sales, so people can prepare. Maybe some Black Friday sales may come out, not likely, but it's still quite possible. And then we get a whole heap of sales coming around Christmas, and the publishers love it because they get a heap of money and a heap of hype because, hey, guess who's getting something under the tree this year? That little Timmy's getting his Far Cry 4, I'm getting my Sunset Overdrive, or whatever game comes out, it's around Christmas time. But as of late, there's been a recent ton of issues with all these games as of this year. I think many people have said this is probably the buggiest launch days of this year, or biggest disappointments. Now, just to go through some of these, we're going to go through some of the buggy launches, and then I'll have my take on it. So, start off, let's go with Assassin's Creed Unity. Now, some of these issues included Arno falling to the ground, the game crashing when joining a co-op session, Arno getting caught inside of hay carts, delay in reaching the main menu screen at game start, and there were a couple of other issues that they're still working on. It's the frame rate issues, the graphical and collision issues, the matchmaking co-op issues, and the Helix credits issues. Now, this doesn't just extend to Assassin's Creed, it also moves forward with World of Warcraft, where it had a ton of server issues. I don't know much about it, so I'm not even gonna go into that so much. Call of Duty had a couple of bugs, but it wasn't as, really as bad as the Assassin's Creed Unity the Assassin's Creed Unity bugs, I should say, where, it made it almost unplayable at some points. It was just a couple of things, it was just the Prestige wasn't working so well, but it fixes after this recent update. It was fine. A couple of just leaderboard stuff. It wasn't so bad. But the real issue was with the big release of the Halo the Master Chief Collection, which I preloaded and was very excited for. But the problem with it is it doesn't work properly. This is the very short version of it, but we can go more in-depth with that. There were a couple of matchmaking issues that I'm still having to this day, where sometimes you can't find a game. Well, most people haven't been able to find them at all. I found one match to this whole time. Since release date, I found one match. There's been 2 content updates, a couple of server updates, and I've had one match. And the rest of them, I've either waited 10 minutes and with no response, or I'd wait some time and then suddenly, hey, you can't connect to this server, that we've had connection issues, and it would have just been, and I've made sure it was just like Halo. It wasn't anything else, because I was doing other things. I went and checked Facebook at that time to see if it was working, and it wasn't just the Xbox One either, because straight after I went to Crunchyroll and tested it out, that was fine. So it's all to do with the game. Now, there wasn't just matchmaking issues. This also led into campaign and people unable to unlock achievements. I think the most annoying ones was definitely the achievements one and the campaign ones. 2 that I've had recently is that I have been unable to get some achievements. One that I'm really anxious and annoyed about was the completing the silent cartographer without jumping. I spent that whole time without jumping. I completely kept away from the A button. I recorded myself to be sure I didn't jump. And alas, I didn't get the achievement, which was very disappointing for me. I'm very saddened by that, because I worked real hard and it was a difficult level, especially without jumping. You need jumping for some parts, and I ended up getting through the whole thing without jumping, and I didn't get the achievement. Another thing is that with campaign is sometimes when you play a level, you could play a level so many times, or you can get up to a certain point and the save states don't work properly. So you can get through, say, half a level, and what would happen is that when you'd leave the game and save your progress and go and do something else, then come back, you'd have to start the level all over again. Yep, this is extremely annoying for me because I've gone through Assault on the Control Room about 6 times, and I don't have much time to play games anymore. Let's put that into account. My gaming time is extremely limited. So whenever I try and play like a single mission and get partway through and then I have to start all over again, that's no use for me. And it's no use for all the other people who don't have much time as well as me, and anyone who's trying to play a campaign in general. I mean, it'd just be a general annoyance, even if like you were just almost finishing a level or something like that, or even not even a time issue. It's just it is just a waste of time trying to beat a level over and over and over again. And even still with recent content updates and server updates, there's nothing really that's been going. I've heard some issues happened with Far Cry 4. I don't really know much about it. Apparently there were some bugs, but it wasn't as terrible as the Halo 4, the Halo Master Chief Collection incident, may I say. The only game I found recently which hasn't had any bugs, and I'm not including like these are big multi-plat releases I'm going to be mentioning here mostly, or larger releases. I could include Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers has had no issues as of late, but like it's not really focused on that much. No one's really said anything much about it. It's only really been released in the US, and I haven't played it firsthand, so I wouldn't know yet. But apparently Dragon Age Inquisition, I'm glad I actually said it right this time. I've had so many problems with saying it. This time it actually had a decent launch. I don't know why I said this time, but it had a decent launch. There weren't many bugs. There were like bits and pieces there, but there are easy fixes to it, and it's mostly just with PC really. It's not actually with any other system. It's just the PC, and they've already introducing updates for it, but it's not so bad. It's just okay. So like, just turn off the thing, turn it back on. I think there's only one Xbox One issue, but it's literally just save your game, quit it, and come back in, and then it's fine. It's only just little bugs here and there. Now, I'd like to make one point very clear. I understand that there's bugs at launch. The Dragon Age Inquisition bugs are completely reasonable. I can understand having little bugs here and there that can be fixed up. That's normal. What I can't understand is having a game completely broken at launch, aka the Master Chief Collection, aka Assassin's Creed Unity. Now that is just completely unbearable. There's no excuse for any publisher and developer to release a game if it's not finished and it has complete bugs. I don't care if you're meeting to any deadline. I don't care what's going on. I don't care what shareholders are getting involved in this. It's all about the consumer in the end. You lose their trust every time you release a game that's buggy like this. You bring up all this hype, you bring up all this like excitement, and just to crush it like that is a huge dishonesty to the customer. Now, eventually, I reckon this will keep happening. If we've had these crazy launches this year with all these bugs and, well, products that just weren't up to status, aka Watch Dogs, which I found alright, but I do get what the problems were when it came to its launch. It's going to keep going like this. If it kept going like this, if we don't change our image as developers and publishers, probably not myself, but the publishers and developers, the publishers and developers, if they don't step up their game, then very simply, it's going to reach a point where all launches are like this. And it's not going to be a thing like where people just expect it. People are just going to be like, you know what? Screw it. I've spent like $60 too many goddamn times. I can't be bothered going in and buying a game to find it's broken, then having to return it to goddamn EB Games or GameStop, or wherever you buy your games. I mean, So I'm just gonna like not play games anymore, and then the market's gonna kill itself, and there we go. We've killed a perfectly good billion-dollar industry, and all at the expense of some developers and publishers just not taking that extra time just to make sure it works. I know it takes a while. I realize that. Many people complain, it's just like, do you understand like what debugging is? I mean, debugging takes so long, and I'm not complaining. I get how long it is. I'm doing a subject at school at the moment where it's like we have to do debugging ourselves, and it does take a really long time. It's testing all different amounts of data, and like it's probably not to the extent of a game. I mean, a game would take a hell of a lot longer, but still, it doesn't take away the fact that they didn't spend enough time to debug the game. It doesn't matter if it takes, well, I reckon years is a bit excessive. I mean, it doesn't matter if it takes that extra month or an extra couple of months to get that game at least to a fully working state at launch. And sure, I understand a few bugs here and there, but up to a point where Halo Master Chief Collection, you cannot play like any matchmaking at all, or your save states get lost, or all your hard-earned achievements go nowhere. Or Assassin's Creed Unity, where there's full graphics glitches that just make absolutely no sense. It honestly makes no sense, and I reckon if developers don't pick up their game, they're just going to kill the video game industry. It's slowly going to drive itself into another crash like it did back in the 70s, 80s, whenever it was, and we'll be stuck here complaining, hey, like, why do we even bother? I mean, like, developers and publishers are just screwing us over anyway. But I guess there's nothing we can do about it now. Just hope and pray that developers get the general idea that, hey, we need to put more effort into this. We need to put more time and effort into our debugging. We need to make sure everything works, and then they'll get their trust back. And I reckon by next year, hopefully everything's in order. Hopefully this year has been a good lesson to all the developers and publishers out there, and also to all the consumers to be wary and don't pre-order anything. And I don't care how enticing those pre-order bonuses are. I fell victim to it. I don't want you to fall victim to it. I just want you to be sure and want you to know that you need to be cautious when buying games. You need to be sure that it's worth the $60, the $100 in Australia, the $60 in the US, that it's going to be working. It's going to be there working at launch, because in the end, you can buy as many games as you want, and like any game can have like launch issues, but it's all to do with our wallets. Vote with your wallets, people. I guess that's how we should be doing things. If we vote with our wallets, everything should be fine. This is Hawksley from Hawksley Games. See you later.